Hi anime lovers. Welcome to A for Anime channel. Further delay, let's talk about Solo Leveling Episode 2. Paralyzed in fear, Jinwoo's comrades ask each other what to do upon witnessing the traumatizing death of already two of their members before Chi-Yul warns them not to move to not make the statue launch another attack. Jinwoo tries to talk to Joohee, who is too traumatized to move by what she just saw. Chi-Yul asks Jinwoo how he saw the attack of the statue coming, who in turn replies that it was by instinct, before shockingly noticing that Chi-Yul lost an arm due to the attack by the statue. Jinwoo helps him stop bleeding and Chi-Yul says that he estimates the statue to be A rank if not S rank due to its ability to insta-kill, comparing it to his past experiences as a hunter. Chi-Yul then remarks that the commandments aren't there for fun, and begins listing them. First, thou shalt worship God. Second, thou shalt praise God. Third, thou shalt prove thy faith. Those who do not follow these laws will not leave alive. Jinwoo then realizes God refers to the giant statue. And then refers back to the beginning of the gates, and the hunters who raid them, stating they are the sum of the strongest in mind and body due to the danger they face every day in the dungeons. At the same time in school, Jinwoo's sister, Sangshik, is in class when her friend Han Song-yi narrowly avoids being late and asks about Jinwoo's role as a hunter. Jina modestly describes him as merely an E rank, often prone to injuries. Quietly, Song-yi remarks that she'd manage to make even an E rank look good if she became one. In the dungeon, Chi-Yul and Jinwoo deliberate over how to tackle the three trials presented by the statue of God. Frustrated by their predicament, another hunter, Joohee, who had recently secured a contract with a prominent guild and believed he had too much to live for to die in the dungeon, attempted to run to the door, claiming speed as his specialty. However, he is instantaneously disintegrated by a beam of light from the giant statue, with only his 2 feet remaining. Despite the escalating fear, Chi-Yul and Jinwoo try and maintain their composure over the screaming. Jinwoo decides to test the statue upon being reminded that the first commandment is to worship God. He stands up before backing down nervously, causing the statue's eyes to flick to him, begin to glow, and stop. Seeing that his thoughts were correct, he yells at the other survivors to kneel to the statue and explains that the statue will only incinerate those who are at or above a certain height. Once everyone bows, the giant statue's expression soon shifts to a sinister grin. Seeing that the statue has changed but isn't moving, Park Byum-shik stands up and is glad to see that the statue remains motionless. Believing it is over, the rest of the party stands up, but is shocked to see the statue doing the same as it now begins to walk toward them. Thinking of the second commandment, praise God, one of the members states he's a student of ethnology, and that he has a few extollments for gods. He then begins speaking to the incoming statue with the prayers he knows. The hunter is soon crushed by the feet of the statue as the statue's smile widens, signifying that those prayers weren't right for this god. Paralyzed in fear, another member of the party is too traumatized, leaving her as another victim for the statue. As they all run, Park Byum-shik thinks of his wife and son as he runs to a statue holding a sword, exclaiming that he thinks the safest place is the walls. Kim Sangshik tries to warn him that the statue behind him is about to attack, but is too late to react as Byum-shik is brutally chopped in half by the statue. Jinwoo soon figures out the meaning of praise relates to HYMS, however the music had to come from the statues, so he orders the survivors to run to the statues holding instruments instead of weapons. Chi-Yul confirms his suspicions as he gets to a statue holding a trumpet and it begins playing. Sangshik also gets to one and rests and breaks down in tears a bit in front of the statue with a violin as it starts to play. Jinwoo drags Joohee to a statue of a drummer and quickly realizes that the statues will not be activated if 2 people are standing nearby, so he leaves Joohee to the statue and looks for another statue holding instruments. However, Jinwoo's low speed leads him to be nearly crushed by the god statue's foot and accidentally rolls to a statue that holds a shield. The statue uses its weapon by dropping on him. Jinwoo is then seen crawling to a statue that appears to be singing right beside him and manages to activate it to sing, causing the god statue to stop pursuing him and get back on his throne and revert back its original expression. As Joohee reunites with Jinwoo, she realizes he has lost a leg and quickly resorts to healing him despite her lack of mana. After the rest of them catch up, Sangshik reminds Chi-Yul that he holds responsibility for the life of their dead comrades, which he promptly and depressingly agrees to despite the other party members' protests. Then there is a rumbling in the chamber and they all turn to see that the giant statue made a stone cylinder appear at the center of the place. Jinwoo explains that it is an altar which in ancient times was used for sacrifices. Sangshik then remarks that Chi-Yul should use this time to take responsibility for the fallen. Jinwoo also thinks during this time that it was a group decision so no blame should fall on one person, which he easily agrees to do so and walks to the center, activating a flame. This is puzzling for a moment before Jinwoo asks two of the other survivors to help him walk to the altar, activating 3 more flames in the circle. Back at Jinwoo, she is now seen visiting her unconscious mother and informing her about her results at school. Back at the dungeon, Jinwoo asks everyone to meet on the altar. The survivors are shocked to see a circle of blue flames arise around the original 6 flames and the dungeon door open once Sangshik and Joohee entered the circle. At this point all statues begin moving toward the still frightened group. Jinwoo quickly figures out that if one of them was looking at a statue it couldn't move, remarking it was like the game they had played as kids. He also figures out that the blue flames were a timer that started once everyone had entered after seeing 2 go out and relays this information to the group. Despite Jinwoo's instruction for them to not leave the circle and to keep their eyes open, seeing that the open door is a trap, the 2 members who were helping Jinwoo stand left in fear. He then shouts that no one else can leave because it would leave a blind spot. This leaves Sangshik to question if they did make it, then what if the doors shut anyway. He then remarks that he's sorry and breaks into tears, stating he has a family waiting for him. Now with only Joohee, Chi-Yul, and Jinwoo left. Chi-Yul attempts to stay behind but Joohee collapses and while in shock states that her legs are not moving and finds out that she's used too much of her magic. Jinwoo tells Chi-Yul to take Joohee out because he can't walk and hands the essence stone that he got earlier to Joohee, telling her to buy food as he had previously promised to take her out to eat, causing Joohee to ask him in tears how can he still be joking before getting neck-chopped by Chi-Yul. Chi-Yul then apologizes that he would have allowed them more time for goodbyes but sadly he was out. He then picks up Joohee. As Chi-Yul leaves while carrying Joohee unconscious, a desperate Jinwoo grabs the sword that Sangshik left behind and speaks in his thoughts about his unfortunate desire to become stronger like others. One of the statues, now close enough, launches his weapon at Jinwoo but misses. Jinwoo is soon mutilated by the statues as his screams echo in the dungeon. Jinwoo leans against the altar and attempts to scream something but is stabbed by a statue's spear before getting lifted in the air and be thrown onto the altar. Surrounded by his own blood that spread over the altar, he sees in silent horror as one of the statues raises its sword and lands it on Jinwoo. The episode ends with a blue flame goes out and an interface appears in Jinwoo's mind, asking him to either accept or decline to become a player, stating his heart would stop in 0.02 seconds if he declined, with Jinwoo accepting. It was great episode and I am so exciting for the next episode. And don't forget to subscribe. Comment down below what you thought about the episode. And I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.